Hello, everyone. This is Kern, and welcome to another episode of Travel Talk. And today we are going to be talking about surcharges, airline surcharges. What are they? Why do they charge them? And how we can avoid them? Maybe. All right, let's go. Airline surcharges. Uh, they didn't used to be around, and you could basically you buy a ticket from the airline and you end up getting elite status. Once you get elite status, then they would allow you to book a fare using your miles. Now, they didn't used to charge you to do it because you've earned it, right? But what they're thinking is, well, we're not really making any money from that particular ticket. And so we're going to charge you a surcharge. Now, the surcharge actually started as a fuel surcharge. So when oil was really, really high, the airline decided, well, we need to compensate for this. So we have to charge you a surcharge just because, it's a free ticket and we have to put, it's just costing us for the flight. And this is what we're going to charge. So they decided to charge a surcharge. Oil went down, the surcharge remained. And so what you'll see is out of certain cities and on certain airlines, you'll see a little thing and it'll say airline. There's an there's a wording for it, and I'll show you what that wording is. So let's just look at some of the cities where you can see this surcharge. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because that's that's the best way to show you. And I'm just going to share my desktop. It is a piece of software that Google created. And basically Google went to and spoke to all the airlines and said, hey, give me all your data. And they did. And now, they created this IT matrix thing. So I know they're out of London. So let's do LHR to Houston. And we're just going one way, and we'll just pick a date sometime in the future. Usually doesn't matter when it is. We're gonna go search. And this is matrix.itsoftware.com. This just shows you a little easier. And so I'll restrict it to, where's the British Airways logo? Let's go nonstop. Here we go, British Airways. And then we'll pick one. Showing in pounds because airfares are shown by the point of origin. That's kind of how they're filed. Okay. So if you look in here, the fare is $1,917 one-way economy. Insane, isn't it? One-way fare from London to Houston. Now, what makes up that fare? You have the US taxes, more US customs taxes and fees, then the UK passenger taxes, UK APD, which is £87. You cannot get away from that. The only way to get away from that is not fly out of the UK. And now you have carrier imposed surcharge. So this is it's called YQ in this case. So they're charging an extra £130 just to fly out of the UK, right? And the rest is a normal. So the rest of the tax we won't be able to get away from, but this 130 is carrier imposed. And not every airline charges that, right? So this was what, £2,220. What we're going to do, we're just going to go back and we're going to pick a different airline. Let's pick Lufthansa, for example. Now notice the difference, right? All the one world carriers, which are these four here, is at least $2,000. And these, which is actually the Star Alliance carriers, are not. So let's go see. If I go to say Lufthansa, and we pick that flight, Okay, now Lufthansa still has a carrier imposed fee, still 130, and you still have to pay the APD. So it looks like out of London, they're all charging the carrier imposed surcharges. Now, this one, there's actually two of them. There is a YR, which is £15, and there is a YC, which is 130 pounds. And so you get a night. Now, you never really see this because all you do, you just buy the ticket. You don't look at how the ticket is made up. But let's go look over here because these tickets are considerably less. So which means that their base fare is probably cheaper. I think with the Lufthansa one, the base fare was probably what, $1,300? These are nonstop flights, right? Let's just check again. It was $1,300 was the base fare. And if we look at, let's say JetBlue, for example, JetBlue is going to make one stop. It's going to stop in Boston. And look at the JetBlue fare. £220 is the fare. Do they have a carrier imposed surcharge? Yes, they do. It's £120. So it looks like you out of London, you cannot get away from this carrier imposed surcharge, but the fare is still only 578, which is like a quarter of what British Airways was traveling, right? A little under a quarter. And so we're going to go back again. And let's see if Turkish Airlines charges that, although their fares is like almost 1,000. Well, let's look at WestJet. Let's see if WestJet charges that surcharge. Okay, their fare is, look at their fare, 300, no, that's 86 pounds is for that fare. And that fare goes from London to Vancouver to Calgary, and then Calgary to Houston is 62 pounds. And they also have the surcharge of 130 pounds. So coming out of London, looks like all the carriers have surcharges. Now, if you look at another market, so let's go to London and see if or let's use Amsterdam, for example. And we're going to get rid of London and we're going to put Amsterdam. Same dates. And then we can check that one and see. Okay, so let's look at London, Amsterdam. You have to connect. Amsterdam, Houston, showing nonstop here, but this is more than likely KLM because there is no nonstop in between. It's a Delta flight, but KLM and Delta and KLM have a codeshare agreement, and they're also a part of the same SkyTeam alliance. And so here, there's another carrier imposed charge of 134 pounds that's being charged. And that's coming out of, I'm sorry, euros in this case, because you're coming out of Amsterdam. And that's 134. And let's go back. Where are we? We're going to look at, let's see, JetBlue. They have a carrier imposed. JetBlue just started flying to Amsterdam actually today, the day that we're doing this. And they have another 120 pounds, 120 euros carrier imposed charge. So it's suffice it to say that all the airlines are charging this carrier imposed charge and you can't get away from it unless you fly a different market. So let's see if let's flip it around and let's see if that carrier imposed surcharge is also charged when you're going to Amsterdam. And chances are they're probably doing that as well. So we'll put the JetBlue one again. We're going to connect Houston to New York, then New York to Amsterdam. And that's $600 because you're coming from the US. And there's a $200 carrier imposed charge. So everyone is charging the carrier imposed fees now, unfortunately. And so how do you get around it? I don't think you can, since everyone is charging it. And what I wanted to check was well, that's pretty much it, because that carrier imposed fee is always in there, because everyone realized that this is how they can make some money, and everybody's charging the same. Now the airlines, they can't collude. So collusion means I can't pick up the phone and call the airline and go, hey, I'm going to be charging 120 dollars or pounds or euros on this route. Make sure you charge it. You can't do that. That's against the law. However, everything is public and everything is filed. They file all the fares in the same place, and so everything is public. So everybody, for to be competitive, everybody pretty much charges the same fare. But you can't, talk to each other and say, this is what I'm going to do. But everybody's charging the fare. If I look at Iberia, Houston to Dallas and Dallas to Amsterdam, $672 one way and $200 carrier imposed fee. So you can't really get away from that, which means that whenever you do normally when you do an award ticket, you have to pay all the fees and all that kind of good stuff. You can't find award tickets from here. What I need to do is let me stop sharing. And I'm going to sign into one of my accounts, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've signed into my American Airlines account, and let's try the same searches, and I'm going to say redeem miles, and I'm going to go, let's do Houston, and let's do Amsterdam. And American doesn't have the little flippy thing. So we're going to do it for the same date, September 20th. And let's see what they're going to come up with. And this is going in and booking. So there used to be ways to avoid this, but I guess you can't anymore because everyone's charging it. So to go Houston, Amsterdam, one way, it's 30,000 miles plus $5.60. So if you're using points, there is no surcharge. There is none of that. I'll just pick this so you can see price and tax information. So you're paying 36,000 miles per person, and you're paying the US, which is the US security fee. So now let's do the reverse and see what happens when we do the reverse. We'll also do London so you can see the difference with London. So let's do AMS, and we're going to go to Houston again, and same September 20th, and let's do search. Now, sometimes it's interesting because you will see that some airlines won't charge the fee, and then others will, and you just pick the one that don't, right? Okay, so it's $90 if I'm going, $90 extra if I'm going to Amsterdam. Let's see what makes up that $90. All right, so coming back, it's a little different, right? $7 US fee, $5, $3, another $6. Noise isolation charge, seriously, $28.60 for that. Airport security, $16. Passenger service charge, $22.50. But there's no carrier imposed fee. All right, so let's go back again. And now we're going to do London. And let's see what we get for London. London Heathrow. So this should give us British Airways flights as well as, because I say all airlines, it should give me both British Airways flights, Iberia flights, and American Airlines flight. And everything is 30,000. So that's the BA flight, 30,000. Now, notice the fee, right? See here, it's $382.05. This one is an American, it's $202.85. So let's take a look and see what the difference is. Okay. Sometimes it makes sense just to buy the ticket, because if you're going to pay this much in taxes, which you're going to pay anyway, then sometimes it makes sense to just buy the ticket and just get credit for it, right? So let's look in here and see. Other tax and carry imposed fee, $163.70. So that's what BA is adding to the ticket. When you, and this is a reward thing that's supposed to be free, right? All these taxes here you can't get away from. And this one is $109.60, which is the APD, which is, I think that's $87 that they charge. But everything here, all of these taxes here, you can't get away from. You normally don't realize this because all you do, you just go and buy your ticket. You never look at all the taxes and fees. You just look at the final price. And so now let's go look at the American Airlines website. Is not easy to navigate. But let's go here, and I'm going to now pick the fare that is a non-British Airways. So let's pick, I think we picked this one before, and let's pick this one. Okay. So now it's $202, more miles, but there's no fee. Because on reward tickets coming out of UK, American does not charge the carrier imposed surcharge, only British Airways does. So you have to really figure out how you want to do that. This was more miles, but it's less money. Now what we're going to also do is look at the fare, the actual airfare without redeeming miles for this particular market, and see what we get. So the idea behind this is just to show you how, when you go searching for fares, always check the taxes if you're going to use your miles. And your miles just mean that you earn these points because of how you traveled. Now look at the difference in the tickets. So this one might actually be worth paying the miles because it's $2,762 for a one-way ticket. Insane. And if we just grab, we were doing Heathrow, Houston. Let's say we grab that one, $2,781. This is an American. Let's see if they're charging a surcharge. No, I don't want to upgrade. I want to stay in main cabin. It's already expensive. Ridiculous. $3,000 for an economy class seat. Good grief. Okay. All right. So $2,398. They have a $163.70 charge that they impose. Still have to pay this 109 tax. And so these are the same fees that you would have paid when you were doing the British Airways flight. Now I can't, let me go back a sec. Sometimes it's not doing that. Is it going to do the search, or is it going to give me, okay, so it did work. So let's see, let's try to find a British Airways one. Okay, that's AA 69. So this is actually British, operated by British Airways. This is a non-stop flight. Same price, 2,781. Let's see. Let's see how they make up that 2,781 price. Okay, let's see. So this, I think this is actually the same fare that I had before, because there's a 163 because you're on British Airways. And I may have picked a flight that was actually British Airways. I was trying to find one that's just completely American Airlines, because the one that's completely American Airline would tell me if the fare is there. So yeah. So these are code-share flights. AA6952 is operated by BA, and then the later flights. So, and then that's all BA. Trying to find the one, okay, Heathrow to DFW. Okay, so these are all American, not much different, 2,791. But let's see if they charge. I'm gonna stay in main cabin. Let's see if they charge the taxes. Yep, they still charge a 163.70 on here, which you didn't pay if you were booking using miles. And this particular route is actually a little bit cheaper to use miles. And that's one of the things too. Whenever you do an international, always check the regular fare and then check the award fare, because the taxes are usually the same. And if the taxes, like in this case, it's really a lot more. It's like $2,800 as opposed to paying $300 plus your points. So you might as well just pay the points, because $3,000 is a ridiculous fare from Houston to London in September. It's just insane. And the normal fare, and let's do I don't know, let's go out in the future somehow. September 20th is only a few days away. So let's try like October 25th and see what fare comes back. Fares from London, Houston are always ridiculously expensive. It looks like it's always $2,000 now, $2,800. That's insanity. I mean, it's absolute insanity. But anyway, so you get an idea of how expensive airfares are from this talk, and hopefully this will allow you to understand what are carrier imposed fees. And it looks like you can't really avoid them, but at least you can understand what they are, and you can look at different fares, different routings, because some routings may not have them. Just depends on the airline that's flying that particular route. But as you can see, it really doesn't matter, because sometimes the fares end up costing you the same anyway. So I hope this kind of helped and didn't really confuse you too much. I was actually surprised that so many carriers now have the carrier imposed surcharges, because they didn't used to. But it seems to be a thing now, especially out of the London market. The carrier imposed surcharge, they don't occur for every market. So if I just do like, let me go South America, for example. So if I wanted to go, let's go Santiago to Houston, for example. Still do American, do the same day to really use the day in October. Should make a difference with the fares, since apparently the fares are super expensive everywhere. Look at that fare, $2,200 to go to Santiago, Chile. Insane. Okay, so let's just take a look and see how this fare is made up. We'll stay in main cabin. Let's look at the taxes. Okay. So there is no carrier imposed surcharge on this particular fare. You can see it here. But it's $2,200 to go to South America and back. No, sorry, that's one way. Insane, absolutely insane. I'm gonna actually do it. Let's do round trip and see what happens. So if we go round trip and we're gonna return, let's say we're gonna return a week later, November 1st. See if the fares are any better going. So it was that $2,200 we're looking at initially. Maybe the round trip fares are better. That's the other thing too, that normally the round trip fares are like twice the one way, but sometimes, especially internationally, you can get a better fare if you just get a round trip fare. In this case, it's $1,500. Insane, absolutely insane. Now, so it was it's crazy. Let's accept the restrictions, because it's a basic economy fare, and even the other one, the regular fare, was $1,640. So you know, remember we were talking about in another video how to decide which fare that you want to get, and I think I messed it up. I didn't click the right button. Oh, I just have to pick the return. So let's return in main cabin. And then it should give me the details of the fare. Let me stay in main cabin. And the details. Okay, so here's what we're paying. There's no surcharge on this one. You can see there's all US taxes, which is quite a bit. And then there's another transportation tax from the US, $42. PFC, passenger facility charge, $13.50. And then there is airport facility charge from Chile, $25. So it's interesting that all these taxes that you pay are all US taxes. Chile just gets $25 and that's it. That gives an idea. So one thing you learn here too is that sometimes it is better to do a round trip fare than to do a one-way fare. Don't think that you can just use a half of the ticket and not the other. I mean, you can, but then you lose the value of the return because the return is not half of what's there. So just be careful what you're going to be what you're going to be doing out there. Oh, and look, because I chose the 1640 fare on the return, it moved me to main cabin. So I'm a happier camper. Okay. So that gives an idea of how to like look for fares. Hopefully you understand a little bit better about how fares work and what are the carrier imposed restrictions and how to try to avoid them. So I'll stop sharing. And if you get any questions, of course, leave a note below. Remember to subscribe and share and like and all the cool stuff. And let me know. This is Kerwin with Travel Talk. Have a great trip. Talk to you soon.